So we built Lebesgue. It's a tool that tracks your data, your competitors' data, and whole industry. And it figures out what are the latest best practices and trends you can implement on your store to improve your business performance. We look at your creatives and competitors' creatives, and we find what are good elements of your competitor creatives that you are missing on your ads. The big problem with CEOs and business owners is they hyper focus on one channel, not looking at the whole picture. Something that really blew me away, AI visibility as a new marketing channel. Conversion rates of ChatGPT traffic are higher than for branded campaigns on Google Ads. So literally there is a higher probability that people will purchase your product if ChatGPT refers the product than if they organically search for your product.
Josip, welcome to the DTC Podcast. Excited to dive in with you on some of the interesting developments around AI and e-commerce. Maybe just start with a little overview about why you built Lebesgue and Henri AI.
Yes, Eric, thanks for having me here. Very excited to share what we are doing and what are the current trends in the marketing industry and e-commerce industry altogether. So we built Lebesgue. It's a tool that tracks your data, your competitors' data, and whole industry. And it figures out what are the latest best practices and trends you can implement on your store to improve your business performance. A kind of problem that we decided to tackle is if you ask Facebook agency what to do, they will tell you Facebook ads. If you ask Google agency what to do, they will tell you Google ads. And there is no objective player who would look at the holistic picture, what other brands are doing, what are the industry leaders doing, and what are the trends, and tell you objectively without any subjectivity or human bias what you should be doing as a store owner to improve your business numbers.
Take me back to who is Lebesgue? Because just for everyone wondering, this is Lebesgue on the website if you want to go visit. But who is Lebesgue?
Yeah, so Lebesgue is a French mathematician. Henri Lebesgue is his name. And he reinvented the theory of integration 2 centuries ago. And our idea is in the same style. We're kind of going to reinvent the online marketing ecosystem by just being able to measure things better and detect these small spots that everyone is missing on, maybe inventory tracking, inventory issues, or emails not performing, or competitors running 30% off promotion. Our idea was to pick up these spots and figure out the best possible advice in the marketing industry.
Very cool. So we're just on the back end of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Give me maybe an example of some of the insights or some of the stories of growth that you guys help unlock with your tools. Yeah,
so I think there's one interesting story. It's not from Black Friday. It's a little bit older, but I think it's a great example of where AI and tools can really help you figure out what is going on. So what was this story? Our customers, it had a classic marketing stack: Facebook ads, Google ads, email marketing, and Shopify store. At some point of time, things stopped to perform. For 2 or 3 days, conversion rate was 30% lower or 20% lower. MER dropped a bit, revenue dropped a bit. No one knew exactly what's going on. Maybe it's just a weird trend or weird seasonality. But after 7 days, teams started pointing fingers one at the other. So it was a separate entities for Facebook ads, Google ads, creative. And Facebook team said creatives are not good. Creatives team said targeting is not good on Facebook. Google team said that website is not performing, and website said emails are not performing. So it wasn't clear what's going on. And what we were able to do right around that time, we started building Henri AI, which is like LLM layer on top of all of your business data. And it figured out that exactly when conversion rate dropped, business changed from automatic discount codes to manual discount codes. And what caused that is, users are not signing up and getting welcome 10 code anymore. They had to sign up, wait 2 minutes for the email. There was delay in the email flows. And then they would have to copy paste XYZ XX75 code that was custom for every customer and copy paste it on the checkout page and convert. And since the audience was a little bit older, like 40 plus, they were not converting on their store. So there was a 20 to 25% decrease in conversion rate. And AI was able to pick it up right away and pinpoint the exact problem that hurt the business growth. And they changed that, and revenue just increased by 25%. MER improved, and we were happy ever after.
And is that as simple as literally like a CEO going into the tool and being like, "Why did revenue drop?"
We are trying to make it that simple. I think we are all still learning how to use LLMs in the best possible way. I hear from our developers, there are such a smart ways how you can, query LLMs. So it's still, I would say, work in progress, but we literally have one tool within the AI, which is called the Revenue Drop Investigator. And you just ask him, what did my revenue drop? This is kind of the key concept that we are trying to solve. Is it because of this? So our AI doesn't just understand correlations, but also causalities. For example, if there was stock inventory issue, Facebook ads team had to pull back the ad spend. There is not enough traffic on the website and emails are not converting anymore. So we can kind of connect these dots and understand the initial problem that caused the revenue drop is stock inventory problem that you have for your store. So kind of also similar with competitors' data, we can pick up that competitor is running 40% off promotion first week of November, and you should either change the tactic and start doing the promotion also, or pull back the ad spend and save it for the second week or something like that.
Correlation and causation are the main factors in statistical analysis. It's so easy to get them confused. And this makes me think of the world of attribution, sort of shared attribution modeling. How do you guys think about correlation and causality, and how are you able to drill in and actually find causality using your tool?
I think like the big thing is just like having a transparent and objective entity. So like, Facebook team will always say it's about the top of the funnel Facebook ads, while email team will always say it's because they're top emails that they're sending, So it's really hard to pinpoint the exact reason. And here we introduced a concept from game theory called shapely value. And so it won a Nobel Prize in 2012. And it kind of computes all of the possible combinations, what would be happening with your store revenue if certain player, so like marketing channel or ad, was not involved in the advertising process. And based on calculating all of the combinations, it gives you a score for every marketing channel or ad, how much it is really impacting the business growth. So that's like one, I think, novel, interesting concept that we are using. It's called shapely value from game theory. But yeah, like even in statistics, they say that every model is wrong, but some is useful. So, like every model just tells the story. It's important who is evaluating the story and what is the key takeaway that you can take as a business owner to change your business results for better, using this data and this analysis.
And then how big is your data set? How have you guys kind of gathered your data set?
Yeah, so we currently have around like $4 billion of ad spend in our database. And we are also tracking like 25,000 brands that are competitors of our customers or industry leaders. So kind of we wanted to enrich this data set, not just having first party data, but also third party data scraped via ad library or like emails or like Google Transparency Center to enrich the data and the decision making process for a brand.
Are there any platforms that you sort of noticed are really pull ahead when it comes to, because everyone's looking for new customers, right? The tool stack for reactivating customers, whether it's through email, SMS, retargeting, but everyone's looking to put emphasis on new eyeballs to actually grow their brand and not just spend money on the people who might have bought anyway. Anything that you would add from the data that you've looked at about where people are finding the most effective top of funnel new customers in today's environment?
Yeah, great question. So I think definitely there's a TikTok who is growing crazy this year. That's important thing. But something that really blew me away is AI visibility as a new marketing channel. So we saw recently this year, there was 40x drop in ChatGPT referred traffic to Shopify stores. And now Gemini is picking up on ChatGPT. So that's a massive change in trends. You get like 10% of your store visitors via ChatGPT. And more importantly, conversion rates of ChatGPT traffic are higher than for branded campaigns on Google Ads. That's something that blew me away. So literally, there is a higher probability that people will purchase your product if ChatGPT refers the product than if they organically search for your product on Google Ads or organically or paid. That's something that just I couldn't believe. And revenue per session, more interesting, revenue per session is 30% higher if ChatGPT refers traffic to websites. So kind of he's also able to upsell more to customers just because, I don't know, for me, it's very, very convincing when ChatGPT tells me to do something.
It makes sense. It's absolutely wild though, because you're already brand aware when you're searching the brand. Obviously, you know about the brand, so you'd think that would be the highest, most intent. But ChatGPT is actually accomplishing awareness and consideration in the same step, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, correct. I actually how we started analyzing that is I was preparing for a conference, and like ChatGPT gave me some feedback on the presentation that I have, how to speak. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ask him, what should I wear for the conference? And he gave me such good advice what to wear that I decided to wear that in the end. And it was a very successful conference for us. And after that, I was like, okay, if I'm doing that, probably a lot of people are doing that too. So let's start this analysis. Let's look at a $4 billion data set and figure out what's going on here.
What advice do you have for brands who are looking to become more discoverable to the different AI agents and platforms?
Okay, so that's something we're researching, and also I think everyone is researching that. So I read some couple of papers around this topic. No one really, no one really knows how it works. Some things that we saw are extremely important are, so one thing is just that information on your website is easily fetchable. So you have to allow ChatGPT or Gemini crawlers to crawl your website to find the key information, and kind of that they don't have to go too much around your website to figure out the key information. So like returns information, shipping information, reviews should all be on the product page, because unlike SEO, AI agents will not crawl your whole website. They will crawl just top 2 or 3 pages and figure out what the brand is about, and they will compare the data with other brands. So that's one thing, just easy access to the website data. And the second thing is off-site information too. So like Trustpilot reviews, Reddit reviews, they're using this as a source of knowledge, and information that is on your website should also be available on Trustpilot, Reddit, Capterra, G2 Crowd, Product Hunt. These things are very important to cross-reference what information it finds on your website.
I think that makes perfect sense. It's interesting. It's like AI is more human-like than the web crawlers, where web crawlers are crawling every little nook and cranny of your website that a human might not ever see. AI is doing it kind of like a human brain might do it a little bit, which is an interesting way to think about it. So optimizing for the customer, optimizing for AI are probably closer together than optimizing for SEO and optimizing for the customer. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's funny because we built a feature that gives you these suggestions. So it crawls your website and it finds mistakes on your website. And whenever I show that to customers, actually advice is so obvious that they have to implement it. Like compare your products with competitors if you're in a hyper competitive industry, or like add user reviews, or explain to customers what is the shipping process if everything is on pre-order. It's such obvious thing that you have to have that on the page, that AI can really help here, even just improve your website and increase conversion rate organically.
Do you think humans we just get lost in the sauce, or we just get hyper focused on specific things? And so what AI does is it really like zooms out, looks at the big picture, and finds all these things that humans just kind of like don't think about?
Correct. I mean, AI also needs to have the right data. So if it only sees a small data set, like your Facebook ads, it won't know too much. But if it has a whole understanding of your business and competing brands, it will work better. So what is important here, we built our tool to build like CEO's best friend. So it will look at all of the data and tell you what you should be doing. And I think a big problem with like CEOs and like business owners is exactly this. They hyper focus on one channel, not looking at the whole picture. I like motivation for me starting this career was my CEO in a previous company where I worked. He was all about like Facebook ads all the time. And I was like, come on, we didn't touch website for 12 months. We introduced like 10 new products, and you still just want to iterate creatives on Facebook, And when we changed the website structure, where we introduced new email flows, that's when the business started to grow. So sometimes, you can just be too focused on one thing, not seeing the whole picture. And I think AI is really good with that. And we try to further enhance it too.
One of the things we're talking about on the podcast, just to be specific about Meta for a second, all the time, is Andromeda, and how big of a deal the gem lattice and the Andromeda engine and all of these things, and how they have played a big hand in brand success over this year, and specifically over this Q4 period. But I've also had people come on and say, oh, it's all overblown, how big of a difference Andromeda has made in the environment. And I'm just curious, from someone who looks at the data, looks at things like objectively, like your AI tool does, what's your take on how big of a deal this adoption of AI systems within the Meta algorithm has been this year?
A very good question. So actually we pulled one interesting data point out on the usage of M dashes on Facebook ads. That's really interesting. I think I did share it with you previously. So there was currently 12% of Facebook ads have M dashes in their copy. So that's just like, you can see that, 12% of brands are just copy pasting ChatGPT text or Claude text, not even thinking to change the M dash to something more human. So that's interesting. Around 10% just copy pasted. That's interesting to see. So purely around your question on Andromeda, I don't know, actually, really. We saw really brands performing really well by following this new Andromeda structure with more creatives, user persona. But usually these teams are already very sophisticated. They knew exactly what they wanted to achieve. I would say more brands in our case, like mess up the fundamentals. Like you introduce 20 new creatives on Facebook, but you don't have a call to action button on the homepage. So or like you can iterate creatives if you really, really have great creatives. But if you don't have the basic creatives set up in the right way, it won't work. Like I saw sometimes businesses overusing, I don't know, Gemini to create new images for Facebook ads, but these images are bad, So if image is bad, it is bad image. No one is going to convert. So I would say solve the fundamentals first, and then it's really state of the art. How do you use Andromeda updates to launch the best creatives or iterate on specific user personas for some of your creatives?
You mentioned the M dash. I see it all the time. The amount of times I'll be scrolling on TikTok or Reels also, and you'll hear someone who's talking to camera and saying like maybe some crazy philosophical thing, but you can just tell that they're reading. My favorite was actually, I followed the Dune franchise really closely, and there's a creator who I love who was talking about the Butlerian Jihad in Dune, which is, to get really nerdy, is about when the people of Dune decided they were not going to use thinking machines anymore, but he was using AI to write his scripts about how humans need to get rid of AI, and he was called out on it, and I thought that was hilarious. So, but my question with that statement is, when you did the analysis of the M dashes, are people, because generally these copywriting machines, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini, they're using best practices. And M dashes are actually an incredibly useful grammatical tool that very few people know how to use. So my question is, do you know if those brands who were just copy and pasting directly from ChatGPT, do you think they were seeing an increase in results, or are people as wary as all of us technocrats are when we see an M dash or certain formats in the text? Or is AI text working well for the average consumer?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So kind of, and by the way, I'm also a huge Dune fan, so thanks for that reference.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you're talking about. So regarding M dashes, we actually analyzed, same businesses over the last 4 years. So there wasn't business A versus business B. It's all the time same businesses. And you can see like 0.25% of them were using it before, and now it's 12%. So that obviously there were some that were using M dashes in the right way, but kind of this 99% of them are using it as I think just ChatGPT copy paste. The thing here, we didn't want yet to go in this analysis of return on ad spend of M dashes, though that's something we are still working on, and it's kind of so tricky to define. Is that a good sample set of users, what they were doing before, after. We would probably need a whole month and 2 PhD mathematicians to solve that properly. So it's still, I would say, work in progress, but that's something kind of that we are putting in our tool too. So if we detect that M dash really improves the conversion rate, it will be like available for our users to see. But right now I really didn't want to go in that like dark forest, as it's, you can pull one data point and say one thing, you can pull other one and say other things. It's so easy to manipulate the data, and we want to be extremely careful not to do that, as it's a common trap, I would say.
Any other insights around, like, say, the big three, so Facebook ads, Google, email marketing? Are there any trends that you see in the data where they're overspending on Meta, they're underspending on Google, they're sending too many emails? Any sort of insights that you discovered? It doesn't have to be broad. Maybe it can be an anecdote about a specific brand.
Actually, email, I think a huge thing is happening with email. It's I think a big mistake that businesses are doing right now. So they hyper focus, like engaged 90 days list. And engaged 90 days list is people who opened one of the emails in the last 90 days. And then Black Friday comes and you just kept sending emails to people who have opened your last 7 emails or something like that. So, and we actually analyzed recently amount of recipients that businesses are sending emails to. 2 years ago, on average, it was like 200 recipients per month. Now it's 40,000. So there was like 75% decrease in the recipients because everyone is hyper segmenting, which is good. But I think people are not doing it anymore in a smart way. They're doing it because they read it's a best practice. But it's Black Friday. Send an email to hold your list because you have it. They're waiting for this day to receive your email. I think that's a big mistake in the email field. And I would say that the other thing is maybe just what we are seeing now a lot. Facebook and Google try so hard to not allow you to exclude previous customers from your ads. And I think some businesses are now lazy here. just, I mean, it's sometimes even good to put everything in the Advantage Plus campaign, but you have to know what is really happening there. So like using breakdowns by audiences on Facebook is really important to really see new, engage, existing, how much you're spending in each one of this audience. And I think that's a big problem right now. And you need something like first-party server-side tracking to show you what is the overlap of Facebook, Google, and email for your repeat customers. I would say maybe if you have Facebook, Google, Pinterest, TikTok, 10 or 15% of your budget at least goes on the retargeting same customers on 4 platforms and over reporting on attributed purchases.
And I feel like competitor analysis is maybe one of the biggest like factors that brands maybe don't really know how to do. You can go onto your competitors' ad libraries and see what kind of ads they're running. I know there's other tools in this space there, but maybe talk about how you guys think about competitor analysis and a little bit about how it actually works for brands wanting to know what their competitors are up to.
Yes. So first we want to solve things on a high level. There are really good tools that do the creative analysis, and our tool is good at, but I would say it's not the best in the purely like Facebook creatives looking at your data versus competitors. But what we try to do is understand things on a high level. How many ads competitor is launching on Facebook, on Google, and how many emails they're launching versus yourself. So maybe you're launching 40 Facebook ads, competitor is running 40 Facebook ads too, but they're also sending 15 emails while you only send 2 emails, or you don't have flow set up in the right way. So that's how first we want to understand things on a high level. And then we also store information about how long competitor ads on Facebook are running, and we estimate performance of competitor ads. So like, are they following the best practices? And then we look at your creatives and competitors' creatives, and we find what are good elements of your competitor creatives that you are missing on your ads. That's something that we just try to educate you how to be better. Though the key point is maybe on a high level to understand what your competitors are doing good that you are not doing at the moment. And we also incorporate the brand awareness information. So we look at how many businesses are querying for competitor ads, for competitor name. And based on that, we can estimate how fast they're growing and how much they're investing in ads. As you can see, the brand trend change over time.
I'm always just so interested in this new breed of like AI tools that have come out and how. So say I've got a $8 million D2C brand. I come in, I sign up on Lebesgue and I start using Henri. I'm a CEO of this company. What are my first wins going to be on the platform? What are the first things that might get surfaced that are going to be a win for me as a CEO?
Our key introductory feature is called Red Flags, where we compare your data with all of the other brands and best practices and just pinpoint to potential mistakes that are happening. And one hidden feature here is detecting what is the overlap of repeat customers on Facebook, Google, and email. So that's kind of what I would say like 8-figure or 7-8-figure brand would see here. Maybe we are overspending 30% of the money on Facebook, Google, and email. And yeah, this shapely value attribution, so the thing with attribution is if you install the app today, everything is going to be attributed to Google branded search and email marketing because you send an email today and everyone converted via brand keywords. So you will have to wait, we estimate around 45 days to see the shapely value attribution data being useful. But we give a 45% free trial of Pixel technology to really see the impact once enough data is in place. So that's what I would say. And then, we also offer the budget allocation suggestion between these marketing channels, incremental impact on Amazon sales, Facebook shop revenue, and Facebook ads, stuff like that. And let me just pull some immediate suggestion. There is one nice hidden feature. It's called product intelligence, where we find hidden gems on your website, products that have a low visibility, but very high add to cart and conversion rates. And sometimes we were able to, reorganize the collections page for a brand based on which, product on page number 3 has the highest conversion rate, but no one is able to find that. So that's maybe a cool feature to see what are some hidden gems and, underperforming or overperforming products on your website.
You mentioned a brand that funded her wedding or the founder's wedding from profits after using Henri. Give me the shape of what kind of insights were generated to do that.
Yeah, that was quite cool. So she invited me to her wedding in Boston, and she was really thrilled with the suggestions she got with our software and improvements she made in her online marketing and whole business altogether. So, for example, we detected she was doing that's a simple mistake, link clicks optimization of Facebook ads. That's, the number one mistake that you can make, just driving traffic that doesn't have any chance to convert. And other big thing was we detected that she actually has, tool detected that offering that she has on Facebook ads is incredible, like 60% off traditional retail price, but there is no complementary information on the website about that information. And here Henri AI was able to pick up that like information that we have on Facebook ad does not resonate with people on the website. And once she sold that, like revenue went up by 300% on the same spending levels. There were some other smaller things, but this was like one big revelation that something on the product page is completely broken after seeing certain Facebook ads that had a huge click-through rate.
I could see that being, it's just something you might not catch, but when you do, it's pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm. All of these tools, just they save you so much time. You can even theoretically, you could paste our whole tool, copy paste it into, LLM. With some engineering of LLM, you could probably get the same out, but it's so cool that you can get it instantly, like in a couple of seconds, cross team, cross channels, cross device. It can pick up all of that stuff and figure out what's going on.
Do you have a preference when it comes, as someone who like works in AI? I've kind of I think ChatGPT was the first one I jumped on, so it's the one I use the most. But do you have any insights on where brands are seeing, or where you're seeing the best platform for specific jobs, or is it all kind of blending together?
Wow, that's a great question. I think all teams have these talkings right now. Even we, for example, noticed that ChatGPT was better at writing copy than maybe ChatGPT, which was more like a engineer writing copy, versus ChatGPT 4 is more like creative way of writing copy. So for some of the modules in our app, we still use some older variants where it makes more sense. Engineers usually say Claude is the best. Honestly, similar to you, I'm also only using ChatGPT. I still believe you can make bigger impact just if you understand how to query better LLMs versus switching from ChatGPT to Gemini to Claude every 2 weeks, because there is a new update coming. So I think my biggest breakthrough in usage of LLMs right now is sending voice messages, because you can give it so much more context that it just gives 3 times better output. So my suggestion would be to use voice messages instead of switching from one to other.
Yeah, I use voice messages too, because I don't have the patience for the full. There are times where I'm like walking or driving and I want to have a conversation, but I generally like to just use the voice message, get it in there, and then get the text, because it skips a lot of the niceties that the voice tries to give you. That I'm like, just give me the details. I think one of the questions I asked in the pre-interview that I'm interested in is I know there are tools that like sit on your website as an e-commerce brand, where maybe someone will come there and they'll want to chat with your website and get a good answer from an LLM. But most people that I know use these LLMs themselves. They're on the platform, and then they bring you over to a site maybe. I'm just curious, like where do you see this going? Like you mentioned earlier that there's this huge uptick in awareness and consideration where you get recommended something from this tool. But to me, the biggest thing that's going to happen someday soon is the idea of persistent AI, an AI that like remembers what we talked about before, and something that's like there for me all the time. Like I've said this for years on this podcast, like a butler. I think that's the next $1 trillion product, and I know that's what Johnny Ives and Sam Altman are probably working on. Is a piece of hardware that becomes a persistent, always remembering AI tool in your life. Do you agree that that's maybe going to be the next big development, or what other big developments do you see happening in the world of e-com and AI?
I definitely see something like that happening. I think there is sometimes even like within the company a physical need to have someone listening to the call and telling you exactly what each team member should be doing after the call. Like having like a little butler who helps you with the whole process. My main thing is like, I actually think no one knows, like we are all guessing. I think it's very important to be humble, agile, be completely ready. Like I was on like 4 conferences this year. For every conference, I had a completely different speech, because the infrastructure and everything changed so much over the like 3 months. Like in March, no one knew what are agents. In June, everyone is only talking about agents. Now, no one is talking about agents anymore, because they're the default option you use. So I think it's changing so fast. And definitely a huge thing is going to be AI visibility and how to get found with AI agents. And talking more broader, like where all of that is going, I really don't know. Like Butler is a good attempt. we have to look at it as a technology. I would say that's important thing. Like you look at it as technology that really can enhance your decision making, whether it's business or like private. You can just make a better decision using AI as technology.
Talk to me. Is Lebesgue and Henri, are they agentic tools? Talk to me about how agents play into the tool that you guys have built.
So Lebesgue is your data layers. So we connect, to Facebook, Google Analytics, Klaviyo, competitors' ad, and we scrape the whole industry and best practices. And then Henri is AI LLM level, which interprets all of this data and tells you what you should be doing. And then you have some specific, tools that one can call other one. And for example, like one case, how you can use Henri. You wake up, you ask Henri, hey, how did my store perform yesterday? He tells you, hey, your revenue dropped by 20%, Facebook ads dropped by 30%. You can ask him, okay, and it's literally voice functionality. You can ask him, hey, which creatives didn't perform? And he tells you this, and that creative didn't perform. Can you reallocate my budget based on modeling or first touch attribution, or whatever you think is the best to improve the first time revenue or first time or MER. So he can tell you, okay, you should change budget like this, and this, and you just have to approve what you want him to do, and he will do that for you. So you can kind of wake up, make the coffee, and give him the full suggestions what to do on Facebook, on Google, or just suggestions on your whole brand.
You mentioned speaking at conferences, and I think that's pretty cool. So you always have sort of a main thing you want to say at these conferences. You say it's changed a lot. If you had to put a billboard right now in Times Square to promote an idea to e-commerce founders, what's that main idea you'd be wanting to promote to the world for e-commerce?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's this graph that revenue per session is $20 for branded keywords. It's $35 for ChatGPT referred traffic. I think this is a huge new battlefield that is opening up, and every business should be ready. This is where I would quadruple my resources. Hey, we have to make sure we are not making mistakes with AI visibility, because it's what SEO was 15 or 20 years ago. I think that's my billboard for e-commerce owners, what they should be focusing on.
You can't rely on being the third result or the fourth result anymore, right? You have to be the first result, because it's I'm still waiting to see how this affects Google, because Google is going to get rid of so much of that down page revenue. But I guess with a conversion rate that's 3 times higher or something, they'll make it up by charging a bigger premium for serving the one right answer. What do you think is on Google's horizon? Do you think they're gonna master this AI, or will it continue to lower their revenue?
Yeah, I actually have very good friends at DeepMind, and they told me Google is not going to lose this battle. So I think Google is not going to lose that battle. Definitely the easiest way how you can monetize that is, just make it paid ad, the default query that Gemini or ChatGPT gives. But I hope they invent something better than that. I think we're a little bit all tired of bidding on branded keywords. So I think it would be great if we invent some more complex, better, more transparent concept, where it's not just about bidding highest on, most expensive keyword or something like that.
We have a lot of brands listening right now. What does the CEO's best friend cost for one of those brand owners that wants to get working with Henri?
Henri is available for $79 per month, and it also includes 2 weeks free trial. So we really wanted to make a tool that you can install for free, get all of the signs, all of the insights about your brand, and then it helps you solve problems, and you have to work with that for $79 per month. But the key takeaway is you can install it for free, input your competitors, get insights of what they're doing, what you're not, and kind of start just improving your business numbers.
Let's go. So if you want to jump on this 2-week trial, go to lebesgue.io, lebesgue.io. Thank you, Josip, for coming on the DTC podcast today. If people want to follow your entrepreneurial journey, are you active on LinkedIn or any of these platforms?
Yeah, LinkedIn. We are working on improving that right now, only on LinkedIn. So yeah, you can follow us there.
Nice. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on today. This was great.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you're not a subscriber to our newsletter, you can do that right now at directtoconsumer.co. I'm Eric Dick, and this has been the D2C Podcast. We'll see you next time.